Welcome to Focus on B, the series where I spent about 20 minutes playing and talking about a game that I've got some thoughts on, and this is Quake II. Wait a second, I've done this game quite a few times now, haven't I? That's true, actually. I did a Vivid Noise on Quake 1 and 2, specifically the remasters by Night Dive, actually. And I've included this game in my, playing FPS wrong video as well, but I'm doing it again. Why? Because I like it and I want to play it for a little bit, okay? Actually, no, it's because I got some things to talk about. Well, it's also because I just like it and I want to play it for a little bit, okay? But anyway, so, you might have seen earlier this week, because I've started uploading these twice a week now, since the Let's Play series kind of, well, I've killed it because I just got fucking sick of it. But, it's not as fun as you think, really. But now I upload more often, and you probably saw last week that, this week actually, that I did, what was that game? Turok 2, which came out a year before this one did. Both of them have been remastered, but I'm playing the originals just for the sake of really proving my point here, that the problems are not technical. Both games, I think, when configured properly, play just fine, actually. They control great. In fact, this game runs stupid smooth. Even, look at this. I mean, no, obviously you're watching a 30 FPS video because that's how I'm going to render it. But this game does run at 60 frames. Like right now, I'm experiencing something that is like, it's like I'm playing a PC game, but I can't use my mouse. And to be fair, there's probably some way you can get Project 64 to do. Actually, you can to an extent. I think I did that with Forsaken. Yeah, my Vivid Noise on Forsaken actually did that, where I configured my mouse to react like it's the analog stick, and it was like really smooth. Mainly because the way that game interpolates your movements. But anyway, so it felt really good. Regardless, I'm just using the keyboard here because it just makes more sense. So anyway, why am I playing the original? Well, it's to prove that just it has nothing to do with the technical aspects. This game is so much more fun and it's even more fun than its PC counterpart, to be perfectly honest, because the game is so straightforward. It's so simple, so linear. This feels more like a sequel to not Doom 64 necessarily, because Doom 64 is not that straightforward or simple. Well, here's the thing, actually. Despite all of the different key cards and branching areas and puzzles, and I still think these kind of levels are nothing like that of Turok 2. Because in that game, it's like, fuck, you gotta find all of the golden bananas and all of the banjo coins and all of the jiggies, and you gotta find all the power stars, and you gotta find all the shine sprites, and then you're just sick of it, right? Because there's so much shit to get. Here, well, this is super simple, super straightforward. Even, especially compared to the PC version. The PC version of Quake 2 has a lot of backtracking. It's not Turok 2 level, but it definitely had, like the PS1 version actually was just closer. In fact, it's almost identical to the PC version. Almost. It had a lot of moments where it's like you're going to go back to a previous area in the level, flip a switch or something, then get a disc get a disc from some area and then go do something else, and it's just blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't know, maybe I am just very, very stupid, but I don't have a good time with that kind of level design in my shooters because I don't want to think too much with these kind of games. Before you say, well, if you don't want to think in a shooter, play fucking Call of Duty. Well, the funny thing is, Call of Duty, I'm not the biggest fan of its flow, because those games are so squad-based, and they have you fucking waiting around for your teammates to bromance themselves all day, just going like, hey dude, we gotta open the door, so watch the scripted cinematic while I open this door that some developer probably spent 50 sleepless nights trying to fucking animate properly and to have it match up with the actual character models. And instead, this game is just like, hey dude, you got a gun, and you got some guys, and you're gonna run around, and like, my brain is turned off right now. I don't have to think at all about what I'm doing, and I just know that I see a guy, and he's dead now, and now I can keep moving through, and oh, that's gross. I like that. And then I just, yeah, that's it. Let's just summarize it with, and then yes, and that's it. And this is actually so much more fun than not only most shooters on the system, but also it's more fun than the PC version. In fact, I almost want to say that this is actually my favorite Quake experience, period. I've never played Quake 4, but I don't really want to play Quake 4. Now, Quake 3 is obviously more PC focused. It is, but it's also on console. No, I mean, it's more multiplayer focused, and that's fine. But it's more, I treat that game a little more like an arcade game. Kind of jump in every now and then, quick burst of fun, because it is a very fun game. Absolutely. Shit, that's gonna explode. Run away. Kaboom. There you go. Oh, the graphics are going all glitchy. Yeah. Obviously, I'd recommend actually playing the Night Dive version over, like, because they included the 64 campaign. Did you know that they also included the original Quake 64 campaign in their original remaster for the original Quake? That's the really funny thing. I never expected that because they're basically identical. I would have kind of understood it if it was Quake on Saturn, because that one had a couple design differences, right? Because of the Saturn, it had like 2 sliced potatoes for a graphics card. Well, it didn't even have a graphics card at all. But with Quake 1, the only real differences were cosmetic, and yet they still included that. Like, fucking legends for doing that, you know what I mean? Here, obviously, yeah, it makes sense because it's a whole different campaign, and it's a really, really good campaign. I really like it. Like, as I said, I like it better than the PC version. Boom. Not just because it's more straightforward. I feel like it has more creative environmental... It's more environmentally diverse. That's it. There's so much colored lighting and all these pretty effects. I mean, not to say that the PC version didn't do that, because it was kind of... I guess that's something that a lot of people bring up when talking about Quake 2, that it pioneered colored lighting. Yeah, it was a year before Forsaken, and it was... You know, it looked cool. The whole thing was that it didn't have muzzle flashes because they wanted to essentially utilize the lighting engine. I think that this version does it too, does it? Yeah, see? Look at how the world gets colored. That must have been fucking crazy. Maybe not by 99. I mean, by then the Dreamcast was out, and every game did it on Dreamcast, but look at that. That is very good. It looks simple. It has a primitive execution to it, but I can imagine that would have been very impressive back then. And it's still cool to look at, right? The feedback is just so fucking tight. This feels definitely more like a sequel to Doom, if anything else. I mean, I do like how at that point in time, id Software kind of homogenized Quake and Doom. Like, literally, there's a fucking skin in Quake 3 that's just Doom Guy. And one of the characters, Crash, is just a female Doom Guy. And it's great. It's okay, screw it, why not? Let's have them just be one and the same, because they realized we're not keeping the identity around, you know, because Quake, so to speak, only really had its true, distinct, totally different, weird, fucked up identity for one game, and that was the original, and then all the expansions and stuff, so I guess you can count those. Although those games started to lean more towards, you know, they started to lean in different directions. Like, I get, like, for some reason I get slight Power Slave vibes from Dissolution of Eternity. And I fucking love that one. I actually did a Focus on B, which, funnily enough, by the time I'm recording this, that's actually the most successful Focus on B I've done. It's the only one to actually outdo several of my reviews. You know, like the Turok one and the Slave Zero one. Dude, I fucking love the Slave Zero. I should do a video on... Actually, I've already done it on the... Well, no, I could totally still cover this on Focus on B anyway. Why not? It'd be a bit redundant, I guess, but it'd still be fun to play. Anyway, making the logo would be... Actually, no, it wouldn't be. It's got a very, like, it's got this art style to it. What do we do here? Simple. Motherfucker. See, look at how colorful this is. I like how it's possible to have a game with a gritty art style that still has a lot of appealing colors. You know what other game does that pretty well? And I know this is going to sound absolutely retarded. I think Need for Speed Underground 2 does that really well. What do you mean gritty? That game's not... No, I think it has a lot of moments where it looks kind of dirty, but it still has a ton of color. The original Need for Speed Underground was much dirtier, though. It had this really... almost... Every time I see the texture on the roads in that game, it looks like wet human skin, and I don't know why. That's literally what I see whenever I play that game. I swear to God, it's what I see. Wet human skin. Maybe it depends on the version, especially in the PS2 version. Also, you know what I noticed about this game as well? That the fact that the FOV is way higher. Like, seriously, I don't feel sick when I play this on, like, Turok 2 and also Turok 3. And this really goes to show that what is technically more refined and impressive, because really this does feel a bit archaic and kind of clunky, but it just allows the game to be so much better to play. And this is a million times better than the PS1 version. I've actually completed the PS1 version. I've completed both campaigns. In fact, this one I completed just completely by surprise. Like, I didn't expect for it to be so short. I was just playing through it. I had some noise in the background, and all of a sudden the credits roll, and I was like, what the fuck? I beat it? That was easy. I mean, I use save states like a motherfucker, but still, you expect me not to? Click, there you go. But yeah, I played the PS1 version, and God, the amount of fucking loading. just killed that game for me. Like, it runs pretty good for PS1. It looks really good for PS1. It's got that banging metal soundtrack, dun 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 dun. You know, the kind of riffs that you can actually play. I remember watching this like super obscure playthrough of the PC version of what I'm playing right now. I forgot the guy's name, but he was playing the and you probably never heard of him because he literally has fewer subscribers than I do. I wish I remembered his name. Damn it. And for some reason, like YouTube, Google, like when you go in your search history, because I know you do that, it doesn't let you go back like a certain amount. I think it started like automatically clearing out certain amounts because I want to go back to like something I saw like a couple days ago and it's like not there anymore. Like, what the fuck? I don't clear it because I don't have anyone checking what I've been looking at. So I'm like, wait, why? Why is it gone? I wanted to see. So I'm sure I would not be able to find that guy's playthrough unless I did some serious digging on YouTube, which would be kind of tricky because this game is, it's not like super popular, but it definitely is not totally obscure. So I'd find probably a million other playthroughs before I find that one. So that would be kind of annoying. But regardless, he was talking about like playing the riffs from the soundtrack on guitar. So he plays guitar, and I thought it was pretty cool because it's true. He was actually describing it accurately. It's like, oh, you put this fret for this part, and I'm just like, yeah, that's true actually. Even though most of the songs are in E flat, and I play them in standard, but with my weird fretting because I can't be fucked to tune my guitar down. But anyway, that's besides the point. Also, speaking of the music, yeah, this game goes for a different approach to the soundtrack. You can probably hear, or I guess you probably can't hear, that there's no metal riffs in the background. It's all ambient. And the funny thing is, I fucking love metal riffs. It's awesome, but I do feel like this definitely allows, well, for one, it does prevent an issue that I find is practically inevitable when you have any kind of music in a game, like music, right? And that is, well, the repetition and the fact that you just get shit stuck in your head and it gets kind of annoying. Because don't get me wrong, the soundtrack bangs, but it's like when I hear da da dum da da dum da da dum da da dum. I did not sing those harmonics correctly. There's these artificial harmonics that go off. Yeah, and it just kind of gets on your nerves, especially because the PS1 version, right, it has all that loading, and every time the game fucking loads, it relaunches the track, or it relaunches a different track. So all I remember from that game is the fucking, the first few measures of every track, and wow, that is so frustrating. You have no idea. Because especially because you actually want to listen to the whole thing, but you just gotta sit there. The game moves too fast for you to just sit there and listen to the music, right? So you never get to hear any of it. What is this shit? Sonic Forces? Ha 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 ha. It's funny actually because it's true. Yes, the game has a lot of compositions that are far too long for the appropriate level. Like seriously, like Final Judgment. You would have to just sit there on the fucking grind rails, jumping up and down constantly to hear that insane bass line. Oh my God, Tomoya Otani fucking skanked on that record. It was record on that game. Like the soundtrack is so fucking good, dude. Everyone's like, oh, synth's bad. Well, fuck you. I use synths for all my music, and I like the way it sounds. Oh man, I can't wait to. Should I release the soundtrack for the game I'm working on, like separately? I probably should. Yeah, on my YouTube channel or something. That'd be cool. No one would watch it most likely, given my track record with my music uploads that are not covers. Not covers. Keep that in mind, because my covers actually have done okay. But anyway, where was I? So yeah, so by not having music in the game, you do have that advantage of never having to have things become too predictable and gamey, right? You still have a lot of ambient noise. It's all very dark and brooding. It's more in line with Quake 1. Not quite as fucked up. Quake 1 was absolutely just... Oh my God, dude, especially when you play it with the Saturn version. As I said in my playing FPS games wrong video, that is now like a year old, holy shit. When you play the Saturn version and you're like truly immersed into the music and everything, it's creepy as shit. Like with the PC version, it's kind of hard to be creeped out because you're just running around, rocket jumping, fucking doing stupid shit. And it's fun, it's really fun. But... obviously you can't really get immersed into a game like that, but when you've got the controls stripped away from you and you're just like barely clunking along, just like trying to aim, it almost makes it almost turns it into like Resident Evil but in first person, which, hold on, wasn't there a Resident Evil that actually was in first person? Actually no, it's several. Yeah, Resident Evil 7, the one with the very tall pale lady with the big breasts, and then there was the one with the I can't define any character. Well, there was a remake of Resident Evil 2, right? Which was also in No, that was in third person. But there was a first person mode, or was it a mod? Ah, shit. It's because I don't know if it's a mod or if it's official, to be honest. Oh, look at the background. I still can't get over how smooth this game runs, too. And it's probably because it doesn't have, like, super complicated animation. Like, the animations look stiff as fuck, but they were already kind of stiff as fuck, even in the original. Although, funnily enough, the animations for the weapons are clearly at a lower frame rate than what the actual game's running at. That's the weird thing. I was always thinking, like, oh, well, it must be doing that because the game, because before playing the game, I've seen videos of it, and they would obviously be at a lower frame rate because the way the guy was recording it, and I was thinking, okay, the animations for the weapons are kind of shitty because the game runs bad. But no, actually, the game runs buttery smooth, but the animations, when I shoot my gun, that is clearly like 20 FPS versus the actual game movement. And it's not totally unheard of. Some games do that. In fact, some PC games do that. Especially when it's a console to PC port. I think the original Halo had that issue where like all the animations were at 30, even though your game can run at 60. In fact, funnily enough, the gall, the developers, like seriously, Gearbox, they actually, fucking Randy Pitchford. Anyway, they recommend that you play at 30 FPS, which I find absolutely hilarious, but they do. The guys who made Opposing Force, Half-Life, which is like the pinnacle of PC gaming of the time, they recommend you play at 30 FPS. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Granted, I'm not much of a, give me 240 FPS or die. No, I'm the kind of guy who will play at basically any frame rate as long as I can see what I'm doing. But really, when you have the option of 60 and developers are like, please don't expose the fact that we have not optimized this game for PC whatsoever. And by optimize, I don't mean like it runs bad. No, it actually runs well, but it's more so the fact that they haven't taken into account the fact that it runs well, and therefore everything kind of looks weird. And that's why I'm making all of my animations for my game at 60 FPS, even though that takes up way more space, because I have to make separate frames of animation. But it's worth it, damn it, because everything looks nice and smooth. What the fuck? I forgot about this section. Oh, I remember this. I'm going to save a state real quick, because I'm probably going to... Yeah, because that probably was going to I forgot there's no anti-gravity. I have to enable the anti-gravity. What time is it? Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, funnily enough, it feels like time has passed less, but it's just because I've done more. I don't know, but I really, really like playing this. It's so... Just turn your brain off and just fucking go for it, and I love that about it. That's what just makes most sense to me as this kind of game, right? If I want a thinky shooter, I'll play Rainbow Six, I imagine, right? Those are the kind of games where it's like, okay, that's a thinking man shooter, so to speak. Although I wouldn't say that there's no strategy at all. I mean, no, you gotta think about what's the best weapon for the situation, but that's more like, that's instinct, really, and it builds up over with experience. You don't really have to think too much about it, it just kind of happens. And also, this is not Serious Sam. You don't have to think like, oh, this is the best weapon for this guy. No, if it shoots bullets, it's probably going to kill him, so there's not all that much in the way of, like, thinking about what you have to do. I just like how the level design is just so simple, right? But it's still engaging. That's the great thing. It's really impressive that developers are able to make such simple level design that, thanks to its use of art assets and different unique shapes and different areas and context, I still feel like I've made some kind of progress in this world. I don't just feel like, oh, they've dumbed it down. It doesn't feel dumbed down. It actually feels more intelligent almost, because it doesn't rely on so much just busy work, right? Like, everyone acts like, oh, the open world busy work of the 2010s or whatever. Nah, dude. Games have had busy work for decades. Okay, let's see if I can make this. I think this is an anti-grav section. Yep, but fortunately we can breathe in space because it's Sonic logic, apparently. I do find that pretty funny. It's like, Sonic, you can't breathe underwater, but you can breathe in space. Look at those polygons. Actually, doesn't look too bad. Anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably just going to start wrapping this up, because at this point I'm just kind of rambling and gushing, because I'm just like, fuck, this is so fun. And you wouldn't think so, because it's like, this isn't GoldenEye. This isn't like the one good shooter. But at the same time, it's like, actually, GoldenEye doesn't... I think it plays okay. That game also runs super smooth, by the way. I think I've already talked about this before. What the fuck is happening? I've talked about this before, that game shocked me with its performance. Like, it doesn't look... you know what, actually? I think it looks better than this game does. At least some of the models look nicer. I don't know, it's interesting. This game, like, looks really good and really bad at the same time. It's really strange. Like, some of the models look really nice and smooth, and other times it looks kind of muddy and ugly, but hey, fuck it, I don't care what they did. It runs real good, so, you know, I cannot complain. I forgot what Quake 1 ran like on N64. That was fine. I don't really have a problem with the fact that it's like the same game, because you always want to have that... Oh, that's intentional, I believe. I was gonna say that, like, there's no sound for the weapons, but I realized we're in space. In space, no one can hear you railgun. Like, of course, it makes sense to... Yeah, look at the way the projectiles are flying. You know, my grenades. Clearly we're in space, that's why there's no sound. That's a really nice touch, actually. Nice. I'm gonna steal that for... No, should I have a level set in space? I don't know. I'm telling myself this for the future, considering that by the time this video is out, the game will probably be done. Because I already have 4 levels. Well, I have 3 levels done, and another level, it's like in development. In development, look at me talking like that. Anyway, yeah, this is Quake 2 on N64. It's so damn fun. It's built into the remaster that Night Dive did for PC. I've played that too. It's great. I just wanted to show off the original because reasons. And yeah, I have a really good time. Oh, fuck me, I'm not gonna die. Okay, good. So this has been Focus on B, the series where I spent about 20 to 30 minutes, about 20 minutes, yeah, talking about a game that I've got some thoughts on and that I really enjoy, or maybe not enjoy so much, depends, but this one I definitely like a lot. And I'll see you guys next time with Focus on B. This has been Quake II N64 1999.